Welcome back to the Rodcast, guys. Hope you're doing well out there. I'm your host, Rod, as always. And in this video, we're going to be talking about the ongoing ICE operations in Chicago, which started last month. And I haven't talked about this that much because it's very similar to the ones that we've discussed before in California, except they're ramping it up even more. In this video, we're going to be looking at some open borders progressives getting smashed by ICE agents because they're trying to prevent illegal aliens from being arrested. Okay, literal criminals, by the way, not just people who cross the border illegally, although of course that is a crime. But nevertheless, they are still trying to prevent basically anybody from being arrested and detained. And as a result, they have faced some brutal consequences in certain cases, some physical confrontations with ICE agents, where the protesters have, of course, lost.
Big developing story today. It's a new operation by federal agents beginning here in the Chicago area. This morning, the ICE border chief posted on X that they have started an operation at large, which is what they say an effort to make the city safer by targeting and arresting criminal illegal aliens. And Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem said that she was here this morning to oversee the arrests. Just before 6 o'clock this morning, we know that agents did raid a home in Elgin. Lexi Suter is live there for us this afternoon, and she spoke to a witness. Lexi.
Hey, Alex, good afternoon. I am standing on this street, actually just about a house down from the home that was raided. I can tell you this is a very typical suburban neighborhood. People talk to each other. It's very quiet. So to wake up,
I seriously doubt that they're talking to each other in English. Okay, if you're talking about talking in Spanish, sure, because the neighborhood has been invaded by illegal tacos and they don't speak English.
early this morning to the sights and sounds of federal agents, well, they tell me it was jarring to say the least. In the dark and early 5 o'clock hour, neighbors who live near Chippewa Drive heard helicopters flying above and saw a flurry of armored vehicles blocking their streets.
This helicopter kept circling over and over again, spotlight shining down in a certain area. My natural reaction thinking is that, all right, at this point, this is probably some high profile case. Maybe they caught a serial killer.
Turns out it was
No, only people who invaded our country. And some violent criminals were also arrested, including a literal murderer. Okay, that was another video that I saw a couple of days ago. So yes, in Chicago, they arrested a murderer who was freed by the local prisons and was just walking around. Okay.
3 men, allegedly undocumented immigrants, that were taken into custody from this rental home they were living in.
I see the door broken and I hear them screaming in Spanish, telling them to get out, that otherwise they're going to come in with deadly force, things like that. And then I see them come out one by one.
We see this in the video.
Why don't you get another nose ring? That'll make you much more credible. Okay, Jesus, man.
I see them come out one by one.
Who looks at this fashion style and thinks, oh, I got to get me some of that? What makes you think that you look attractive and you pierce your nose and you destroy the face that you were given? Okay. People, man, this new generation, I don't understand, but this is not even new, actually. People have been piercing their faces for thousands of years. You look disgusting. Okay. Disgusting. You don't look attractive. You don't look beautiful. You look hideous. You look like you're a sadomasochist, or a masochist, I mean, who likes to hurt himself. That's what you look like.
Out one by one.
We see this in the video posted by Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, who assisted her team in the suburbs today. President Trump announced Operation Midway Blitz earlier this month, and now we know it's fully underway. State Senator Cristina Castro says she was unaware of this morning's raid, offering strong words to Noem and her team.
She can go to hell. Don't come to my community.
We're going to come all up in your community, bitch. And there's not a damn thing you can do about it. You can get your Cuban ass back to Cuba if you like, Castro. We're going to do whatever we want in Anglo-Saxon land. This is our land. You are not part of this country. And you will never be an American. Okay? Kristi Noem's going to be all up in your ass. And there's not a damn thing you can do about it neither. You're going to shut up, sit down, and cry more.
Go to hell.
Now, the federal government says it is targeting criminal immigrants as.
No, that's a bunch of BS. We're targeting everybody. That's the real truth, okay? And they need to stop saying this BS about, oh, we're just targeting criminals. Yeah, you are targeting them, but you're arresting everybody else too. So stop this lie, okay? Tom Homan and Kristi Noem, who I love, but they need to stop with these lies. Just say the truth. You're arresting anybody who's here illegally, including grandmas, including minors, if they're unaccompanied minors who can be shipped back. You just tried to ship back a bunch of them to Guatemala. Good, admit it. Okay, they're so afraid of the poll numbers, and that's the reason they keep saying, oh, we're going after the worst of the worst. No, you're going after everybody. And I love it. And most Americans love it. Okay, people who voted for you want this. They don't care. They're not going to veer off you. They're not going to stop supporting you because of that. Okay, we want all of them gone. I don't care if they're violent criminals or not. They don't all have to be Ted Bundy. The only thing that matters is that they invaded our country, and we want them gone. It doesn't matter how old they are. It doesn't matter how hard they work. It doesn't matter if they're nice people, bad people, criminal people, whatever. Get them out because they don't belong in this land, because their ancestors didn't build it and they have no right to be here. Got it? That's it. End of story.
As of now, we do not have any knowledge of the backgrounds or if there are criminal records of the 3 men that were taken into custody today from this home. I was in touch with the mayor.
So more details came out. Actually, one of the people there was a felon. Okay, so one of them was a criminal. I don't know about the other two, but at least one of them was a felon. But again, I don't care. They were all illegals. They all need to be dragged screaming out of here. Okay, they weren't screaming, but they were dragged out of here, and that's great. Okay, that's an improvement on the situation. None of them should be here. That's the point.
Outside of a West suburban ICE facility earlier this morning, the protest, the fourth in many weeks. Demonstrators gathered outside of dawn, before dawn that is, at the Broadview ICE facility, blocking entrances as part of their response to stepped up immigration enforcement underway, better known as Operation Midway Blitz. Federal agents dragged, tackled demonstrators, and at one point fired pepper balls and what witnesses described as tear gassed.
You're trying to help illegals break the law. They're trying to block the transport of these illegals from one place to another. Okay, and that's unacceptable. You're literally committing a federal crime by interfering with ICE agents, and they have the right to use force against you if you do that, like what happened to this one here. Okay.
And signed an executive order in an effort to protect the free speech of those demonstrators.
Yes, free speech. Yes. Free speech does not involve you getting in the way of ICE cars leaving. Free speech is standing and screaming at ICE agents, which is disgusting, but nevertheless, you have the right to do that. And also holding up signs. Those things you can do. That's protected under the First Amendment, and nobody can stop you. That's why they didn't. But as soon as you take physical steps to try to stop ICE agents from doing their job, then you're going to get smashed. And that's what happened to her.
The protesters have been out here since about 5 this morning. Now, the crowd has grown significantly smaller, but in the past few minutes or so, we have seen some of these protesters start to approach the gates. That's where those ICE agents are inside there. One of those protesters ringing the bell consistently here. Now, at this point, we know at least 2 people have been taken into custody by those ICE agents. They were both protesters. ICE agents have been on the roof of the building here, and at one point fired pepper balls, rubber bullets, and smoke grenades at the crowd below. This happened after protesters were trying to block a car that one of their fellow protesters was taking away in, and that is when things really started to turn aggressive here this morning. Some sort of chemical agent we believe to be tear gas was deployed into that same crowd. We want to show you now. Take a look at how the morning.
So every single outlet harped on this story about 2 citizens being detained. They tried to pretend like ICE was arresting citizens. The reason these dummies were arrested is because they're trying to literally interfere with federal agents doing their job, which is a federal crime. Okay. They weren't arrested for immigration violations or being deported because they can't be deported. They're citizens. They were arrested because they were trying to help the illegals and getting in the way of the police doing their job. Okay. So just to clarify, they don't clarify. They post titles on those videos trying to pretend like ICE arrested citizens as an immigration violation. They can't arrest citizens. They are trying so hard to equate illegal aliens invading our country with citizens, trying to pretend like ICE is going after citizens. ICE has never arrested a citizen for immigration violations because they can't, because there is no violation. They only arrest illegals. The only time they detain citizens is when the citizen does violence or tries to stop the ICE agents from doing their job. Man, look at this. These ICE agents are not paid enough. I know they get a lot of money and benefits and stuff, but to take all this crap, these disgusting open borders idiots screaming at them for doing their job. We don't have any borders anymore. We don't care about immigration laws. Everybody just gets to flow in and you can't deport anybody. That's their principle at this point. They used to say that they're against illegal immigration. That used to be the line of the Democratic Party. Now they don't even say that. They just say, oh no, they're hardworking, so it's okay that they raped our country and raped our borders and violated our country. They have no rules anymore. They can do whatever they want. That's the new standard for the Democratic Party. Get ready to keep losing elections, bros.
So you heard our Darius Johnson and Luke Kleinberg reporting in the middle of all of that smoke this morning. You saw that smoke go off, and you may have noticed that protester who was seen lying on the ground at the end of that video. We spoke with her just a few minutes ago. She is an independent photographer here in Chicago who says she showed up here to kind of document the potential for any arrests. She is okay. She got help from some of the medics that were here on the scene. Now, at this point, there is no word on when or if those two protesters will be released or if they're facing any charges. That's something we're going to be following up very closely with as we head into the afternoon hours here. For now,
yeah, so most likely they are going to be released, and I don't like that because they should be charged. A lot of times the charges are dropped. Now, that's on Pam Bondi and the U.S. Attorney, honestly. That's not really on Kristi Noem, although she should be coordinating with the DOJ to make sure that these people are appropriately detained and prosecuted, that there are federal charges filed against them, because you have to send a message that we're serious, okay? It's good that the ICE agents are not, pulling their punches, that they're like literally dragging these people out when they try to get in the way. I like that. You need to use this kind of aggressive force to set a tone. If you don't, they're going to keep getting in the way of these cars. Okay, they're going to keep trying to block the proper administration of immigration law. And you can't let that set a precedent, because if you set that precedent, that means that we can't enforce our laws anymore. Okay, when it comes to these disgusting animals who invaded our country, we have to let them be here forever. That's not a good standard you want to set. So you want to use maximal aggression and also maximal legal penalties according to the actions that were taken. If they try to block an ICE car, that is trying to prevent a federal agent from doing their job. That's a violation of the U.S. code. Okay, that's a violation of federal law, and you have to charge them. If you don't charge them, other people are going to keep doing it. They're going to get the message, hey, there's no consequences. We can keep doing it. It doesn't work, but the point is you're still interfering with ICE agents. Okay, it doesn't work because they still got dragged out here. All the illegals were arrested anyways. So their protests are completely meaningless. But nevertheless, you have to send a message so that more and more people don't show up like this at ICE facilities and try to stop the police from doing their job. But anyways, the agents themselves are doing a great job. I just wish that the U.S. attorneys in these areas fully prosecuted these people who break federal law. Okay, because if you don't do that, they're going to keep doing this. And that's all I got to say for this video. Thanks so much for watching. As always, I'll see you guys in my next one.